Hello everyone, my name is Saneela Jawad and today we have a very special guest with us, Ms. Huma Ejaz Zaman, who is a lawyer with over 24 years of legal expertise in different fields. She has contributed to international legal journals and also played a very important role in legislative reforms, including the Women Protection Act in Punjab with Salman Sufi and the topic under discussion, the Muslim Family Law Ordinance Bill, which has been presented in the Senate. It grants women the right for a share in marital assets upon divorce. So let's welcome Ms. Huma Ejaz. Thank you, Ms. Huma, for joining us today. How are you?
I'm well, and thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for giving us time. So first things first, I would like to know, okay, how does this bill align with the existing Muslim Families Law Ordinance of 1961? And what significant changes does it introduce for women's right upon divorce?
In recently, within the framework of Muslim Family Law Ordinance, what was provided for were two things upon divorce. Or a woman could get one, which is a dower, which is called hak meher, if it has not been paid at the time of divorce and she's not claimed it during marriage, then she can claim that upon divorce. Second thing would have been maintenance for the children, which she gets through the court because now she's not living with the person, her husband anymore, so she gets that.
Right.
Third thing she gets is maintenance for herself, which is an amount which court can grant anytime up to 1 year.
Okay.
That she has to be maintained post-divorce up to 1 year. Now, other than that, there was no compensation for a woman if she spent her entire life with a man and given her career, her hardships, raised the children for him, kept a home for him, and it's considered a contribution that she's made to all the assets that they've made since marriage, since the day they got married. So whatever they made, it's assumed that it's made together. The reason being that her contributions were never, there was no numeric figure to it.
They were not tangible.
And they were considered, if she is a homemaker, she hasn't contributed anything. If she's raised the children, so what? If she has looked after the family and the parents of the husband, no, that's her duty. No, it's not her duty. She has actually worked with you as your life partner, and she's earned that, because now these are called earned wages of a wife. There is a numeric attached to it, that she can agree with the husband that I am doing all these works, which is not my obligation alone, and I need compensation for that. So that is considered the contribution. If they divorce, it's considered that this is accruing over a period of marriage.
Right.
So whether it's 10 years, 15 years, 20, 25, it's accruing all this because they're together in all the assets they've made. So if the divorce happens, then she can claim and demand that my asset be given to me, my share of my asset be given to me.
Okay, now you mentioned caregiving and homemaking. Yeah. How would the courts determine that contribution of a wife?
So it's very difficult numerically if we get into, semantics of it. Oh, I did this, I did that. So that's why the law says that the contributions that have been made in the marriage, it's assumed that that will be 50% of whatever assets has been made by the husband since they got married.
Right.
So instead of getting into calculations, because of course when you get married, she will keep a home for you.
Definitely.
Even if she earns, she brings sometimes that earnings into the house. Yeah. She will have your children, she will feed them, raise them, take them to school, educate them. She will look after your relatives if they come home. She will give you a peaceful environment, and that's why you're able to work. Otherwise, you can't sit. If the husband can sit at home and babysit, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, not here at least.
And even if she's working, she will come home and she will do all these works which the husband will usually not do.
True.
So we have said that we've assumed that it's a 50%. Rather than getting into calculating each work that she has done, actually it's very interesting that some Muslim scholars told us it will amount to more than that.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
actually, it amounts to more than that. And then we have these daily wage scales and we have these wages.
Yeah.
For example, if she's a very educated lady and she's tutoring her kids, then obviously, then she should have a more. She will be earning more if she was tutoring other people.
Definitely.
But she's giving that to her kids. And usually they say, oh, this is her responsibility. But interestingly, in Islam, they say that even if she feeds your child, even if she feeds milk to your child, when a child is an infant, you need to pay her.
Oh.
She can demand wages for that.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yes.
So, like, you said that the bill emphasizes its alignment with the Islamic views of
Yeah.
fairness, right?
Yes.
So, how well does this law reflect Islamic principles regarding divorce and property settlements?
All right. So regarding divorce in Surah Baqarah, in Islam, there is a ayat which says that when you divorce them, make a fair settlement.
Yeah.
And give them compensation. A marital asset is defined in the concept of mata in the entire Arab world.
Yeah.
Whether it's Tunisia, whether it's Egypt, whether Iran, it's called wages, that she's earning wages while she's with you. This accruing, all this money is accruing, and this is in form of these assets that you're making.
Yeah.
And it's called mislul something, like a wage, daily wage. And then in Dubai, in Turkey, so in in Morocco, in all the Muslim world, they have a concept of marital assets. It's only here that we don't consider that.
Yeah.
So that's why we wanted to bring this concept in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you mentioned the concept of mata. I hope mata. Right.
We call it mata.
Okay. So why is it that we don't consider it here? Do we think that it's a Western concept? And like, if it aligns with the Quranic teachings, can you please elaborate more on that?
Actually, the West has taken most of the rights that the women were provided in Islam. The West has adopted them. If you remember, women did not even have a right to property for the longest time in the UK.
True.
And it was only in 19th century, I think in 1940s or 50s, that they got the right to property. The daughters will not get it. The first son will get it, everything. So there was all this hierarchy. Islam provides rights to property. Islam provides right to divorce to a woman, right to property to a woman, right to own that property. So if you see, even this concept comes from Islam, because Islam says that your wife's contributions in marriage, if Islam can say that even for feeding your child you need to pay, then for every housework she does, she's actually earning her wages.
True.
She's actually, you are making an asset because of her. Otherwise, you have to sit at home. You will have to raise the children. You will have to do the house chores. You will have to do everything.
And that's not
So,
gonna happen.
and that's not usually, because of it's biologically proven that a mother has to look after the child in the initial years,
Yes.
and the child needs the mother more than the father.
Yes.
So it is actually an Islamic concept that these obligations are not something. She is not required to look after your parents.
Yeah.
She is not required to look after you also. She has to become like, she's not a maid. You've not married a maid who's going to work in the kitchen, who's going to clean your house, who's going to, no. Islam actually provides these rights. And these are coming from the scholars, from scholars of Sunni fiqh, from scholars of Shia fiqh. And these are coming from all the scholars who are studying or who are teaching in Al-Azhar University, in Qum, and other Islamic universities.
Right.
So it is actually an Islamic concept that the West has adopted.
Okay.
I would say it's the other way around.
Yeah, but we just don't want to accept it.
We don't want to accept that.
Okay, and you mentioned that countries like Egypt, Iraq, and Tunisia have already implemented this,
Yes,
right?
they have that.
So if we introduce this model in Pakistan, what, according to you, how do you think we can take from their experience, and what aspect of their legislation can be useful in Pakistan?
Well, they have legislated it as marital property. They have called it a marital property. And they've said that marital property, some have given a share, a certain share. Some have left to the discretion of the judge. Some have left it 50%. So it depends upon legislation because you see, it's fairness. So whatever is fair is provided in legislation. So what we have done here is, because here, otherwise you go into court and litigation goes on for ages, for years.
True.
So we gave a number to it, a percentage. We're like, whatever you make from the day that you get married, whether it's one car, it's one house, it's furniture, these are marital assets.
Yes.
And these will be divided 50-50. So there is, so it gives easily, so it's one-time payment. And it's one-time payment. And it is other than the maintenance for the children that he has to provide. It is other than dower, which is written in the Nikah Nama. It is other than any right to maintenance that the court can give the wife, that, he needs to maintain her monthly for 1 year period or 6 month period. So this is one-time compensation. So it will restrict people from getting into too much, litigation. Because if they get into, let's value how much she worked, how much she didn't work. No.
Nah, that's
So we want to, because what's the point? It won't be implemented.
true.
So we have to do something which is implementable.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And what sort of challenges do you foresee when, in the implementation of this law, especially in like rural and conservative areas where women's rights are less protected?
Yes, that's a very good question, because the thing is, all these rights are provided by Quran, from the right to dower, from the right to maintenance while she's married, from the right to property, from the parents, from the husband, which is not given to the women. So it will be a very daunting task to explain to them, first of all, the criticism that I got was, this is anti-marriage. This will make women walk out of their homes and destroy families. It's the other way around. It's the men usually, mostly in our society, who walk out, or they force the women to live in very dire circumstances. They remarry, or they bring a woman in the house, or they stop giving her money, they mistreat her, because they have no fear that, where will she go?
She has nowhere
She has nowhere to go, and she has no rights. I can do whatever with her. And when she's done 25 years of her life, it's her dignity. 20 years into marriage, 25, 15, her dignity is challenged. When another woman is brought into the house, or another marriage happens, or she's mistreated in front of her children, in front of her parents, in front of the in-laws, because he has no deterrent. I can just throw you out of the house at the spur of the moment,
Yeah.
No, you cannot. And if they do, the thing is, even after 25 years, she has no right in all the assets that she's made jointly with him.
Yeah.
Work towards it. So this will actually deter men from mistreating women, deter them from finishing their marriages, and think twice, because there has to be some compensation. She's been with you. You just can't throw her one fine day and tell her to collect her clothes and get out.
Yeah.
And that's what she did for all these years? No.
So it's going to be very difficult to actually
break away a marriage, because it's just not going to be, I've divorced you.
Yeah.
Because there is a compensation attached to it. So he'll have to think twice.
Exactly.
He'll have to think twice before he abuses her trust, before he goes and marries without permission. He can marry under Islamic law, but with permission of his wife.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
So, and what about, its impact on women's financial independence and security post-divorce? Like you said, particularly in cases of long-term marriages or where women don't have an independent career.
You see, even in short-term marriages, it's still, in many parts of the society, it's considered a big setback for a family. I've had fathers walk in and tell me that, look, he just married our daughter, had 2 kids, and after 5 years just went and married someone else, or just mistreated her, threw her out, and she has no rights. So it's actually, when you say that it's just a women-related bill, I disagree with that. It is a bill, it is law which will actually help all those fathers all those brothers, all those sons who've seen mistreatment and felt helpless of mistreatment of their sisters, their daughters, and have been helpless. So actually, I feel that once this law comes, because of this deterrence, it will help set this society's, priorities straight.
True.
The value system will be back.
Yes.
You see?
Yeah. But then again, there'll be some part of the society, like men in particular, who do you think they might push back
Yes,
on
so
this?
they will say in the conservative society, they say, oh, like this is not Islamic. Oh, that also, this is not Islamic. I just explained to you this is Islamic. And then this is very pro-feminism. Feminism. No, I've just explained to you that this is about also those men who suffer when they see the indignity of their women folk. So we will have a backlash, and from the Islamic Ideology Council maybe, and we are now debating the bill with them, trying to explain that this is actually an Islamic concept. It's not a Western concept. And what they comes from them, people usually misunderstand. They say, oh, they already have rights in property. But hello, once she divorces, there is no right to property of her husband.
Exactly. Yes. That is
So
correct.
I get very sometimes, funny answers. People have to open up their minds that this is a woman's right. And they should not be scared of a woman's right. It's not about feminism. It's not about anything. It's about dignity. It's just like women have been given by God their rights in property, and they're denied that right.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact that the law provides them this right. The Islamic law, the law of the land provides them, and they're denied by hook or by some, by hook or by crook. They just delay the property award. They make them, they used to make them surrender properties.
Yes.
Now Supreme Court has held it against them that you cannot make them surrender properties unless they make a statement without coercion in front of court. And at any time, they can come and say that we were under coercion at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes, fair. That's pretty good. So, how do you think this law, when and if passed, could shape family law reforms in Pakistan in the future?
This will be actually a very big change if this happens. If you give rights to all the you have disenfranchised at least 50% of your population from rights, from their rights which are given by Islam, from their property right to their right to maintenance to their divorce compensation rights, which we are trying to bring one more, that they have a compensation right at divorce. It will actually change the way people think. It will change the way the society, the women suffer. You see, when women are left in divorce, abandoned, and most of the times they don't even pay for the children.
Yes.
So they at least will have somewhere to start their life from. Nobody can bring the number of years that they have spent and gotten nothing. Now they will get something for those number of years that they've spent with that person, building a home together. So that's why we call it marital assets in the law.
Okay.
Yes.
And lastly, just when we're talking about future generation of both women and men, how do you think these changes, which you just mentioned, how will this affect them and bring out a positive outcome?
I think it will be very healthy for any marriage in future, because men will know that they have rights, women will know they have rights, and there will be less aggression in the marriage. Usually the aggression is always on finances, most of the times.
True.
Or, they take it, men. So that will be there. And even if, people have a right to divorce each other. I don't say men have a right to divorce and so have women. Even if they divorce, so at least that woman who either she has children or does not have children, in both scenarios, she can start a life. So you see, in my experience in practice, I've seen a lot of misery of these women. And then misery of the families who are connected to them, from their children to their parents,
Of course.
including the men of their family. They all suffer. So that suffering will be considerably reduced. Because when you are empowered, you have something to start your life with. That makes a lot of difference.
Women will come out stronger.
Yeah,
in
I
future.
mean, at least you're not on the streets.
Yes.
And at least you have dignity.
Yes.
So this is right to dignity. You can imagine a son who has witnessed his mother being indignified in this manner, and how when he grows up. And actually, in many cases, I got a lot of support from such people whose mothers or sisters or daughters have suffered. And they've seen that. And they're the ones who were like really behind us, that you must do this.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I mean, this sounds
Because
great.
no law can pass without both the genders being on board.
Yes,
Whether it's women related or men related.
true,
Yeah.
true. All right. Thank you so much. That was very insightful, actually. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, viewers, and stay tuned for more.